Welcome to Star Wars Timeline. Today is Friday, so let's have a look at the next The Bad Batch, episode number 10, Common Ground. As always, this will be a full spoiler review, so I encourage you guys to watch the episode first before you see it. And if you skipped my previous episode reviews, I will drop the links to those videos in the video description below so you can follow up with me. So let's get right into it. We begin this episode on a new planet. Before even we see the Bad Batch and Omega and the guys, we see Raxus, and it's a planet that's being forced into compliance by the Empire. We see Senator Singh, who is very conflicted, and he's trying to make a decision before he gives his speech. What is he going to do? Where will he lead his people? Will he, bend the knee to the Empire, or will he encourage everybody to resist? And right off the bat, I thought it was very beautiful scenery and a nice change of visuals in the show where it begins to be a trend where they constantly introduce cool-looking planets, and this was no exception here. So I don't think we've seen Raxus ever before, or the Senator Singh. He seems like a brand new character. And the first vibes that I got from this episode that we're going to a more exotic locale, which I always look forward to in my Star Wars. It almost gave me the vibes with its lush vegetation and color schemes and the architecture that we see in the beautiful, beautiful city. It almost reminded me of India. I don't know why. I think it's a combination of color palettes, especially when you look at the Avi Singh's outfit. Obviously, his name, Singh, is being a very popular Indian name, or I believe even a title at some point in their history, that you see his red hat and with some colorations of white. So the combination of colors was there for me. So it gave me that interesting India look into it. And of course, we're now back with the Bad Batch, and they're getting another mission. They need to extract the senator because he obviously resists, and he says, no, I can't allow this. And it's funny that it is his droid who signs the commission with the Bad Batch and with the Sid, and she says, I need my master to be rescued, which I thought was pretty cool. And of course, the droid looks like the model we've seen in the original Star Wars trilogy, and it's interesting to have that nice callback to the retro designs of the droids. And once again, she's very sensitive, she's concerned for her master, so it's the perfect Star Wars trope of a sentient robot with feelings. And in the beginning of the episode, I thought, well, okay, is it going to be another side mission? The Bad Batch mentioned that they've been through several missions before this episode starts, and now, let's get with another one because they have to pay their debt to Sid. Well, no, I didn't feel that it was a filler episode, and up to this point, there hasn't been one, because when we see the interaction, what the Empire is doing on that planet, it's basically a precursor to what we see in the Star Wars Rebels show, where Empire controls major part of its core territories, but here it only now begins to supplicate and subjugate all its planets. In the Star Wars Rebels show, we see the Empire Day, and it's actually the day that its main protagonist, Ezra Bridger, is born, and we'll always see the foreshadowing of it here. First, we see the Imperial commander who tries to maintain order. So you kind of imagine later on they will introduce a kind of a special Imperial holiday. It's like, look, you're under our protection and our law now, and there's no way out of it. So that was pretty cool. And from that perspective, the episode pushes the overall narrative of the show forward. So as the Bad Batch team goes in to extract the senator, which I'll also talk about, I thought it was pretty interesting in terms of action, Omega stays behind. And the question is why? She's been there with the guys before, but obviously they have not assessed the threat properly, especially with a mission with a Rancor in the cage who goes rampant and starts destroying everything. But here they know for a full fact that there's Empire-ridden planet, and Hunter objects greatly, and he mentions to Wrecker, says, look, she's been through a lot. The show reminds us that, yes, she's part of the team now, she's part of the crew, but she's still a child, and eventually all of this stuff is going to take a toll on her. So she stays behind, and Sid is tasked with babysitting her, which she doesn't quite do. Instead of catering to the child's feelings, like, oh, I'm upset now, I'm going to be moody. No, she actually tells the kid, look, make yourselves useful. And later on, she engages herself. Oh, so you think you know how to play this hollow chess monster creature game, which was also really cool from the episode 4, A New Hope. It was nice to see Omega back in sort of different kind of action where she utilizes her mind and her intelligence. And if a lot of us are speculating that Omega has some kind of special talent because, she's very empathetic, she feels Crosshair when he's about to commit that betrayal, and she senses the rest of them. So she portrays or demonstrates some kind of skills that tell us that she's possibly force sensitive. But now there's a different, I think, an added component to her. She knows strategy. She knows how to play this game, and we see by the end of the episode that she outsmarts everybody, and she even sits down to play with basically the most intelligent of the Bad Batch, which I believe is Hunter, or at least when it comes to military strategy. And it made me wonder, so hold on a second. We can understand that on a genetic level, if she's, let's say, in the future, when we find out she's Palpatine's clone, that she has this natural gift and talent with the Force, sort of like Rey. But this is different now. Strategy is something that you learn. It's a skill that you have to practice and get better at, almost like playing chess. So it made me think, hold on, so what is exactly her background? These Kaminoans or anyone else who was responsible for her upbringing, what's behind her education? When she says, I'm not helpless in this episode, it almost feels like, no, it's not just a child saying, no, I wanted to come along for the mission and being moody, and distracted. No, it felt like she almost saying, no, I have skill set that they could find useful and they're not using me, and that's why I'm upset. Very intriguing stuff. I'm really interested to see where they're going to take it next. Also, the humor obviously is still there. We have Sid. She's kind of having this familiarity with the group now. She calls Tech goggles, and she calls Hunter bandana. I've said pretty well-placed humor there. By itself, the mission is very straightforward, but I really enjoy how it starts almost like a Splinter Cell or Metal Gear Solid video game with a sneaking around mission and trying to avoid the cameras and things like that. I wonder if the animators or creators of this episode are big Metal Gear fans. And then it builds to this rising action. And of course, it was really awesome to see Clone Era walkers come back because, their empire still is very transitional period for them in terms of technology as well. So it was a nice callback to Clone Era weaponry, which I found pretty cool. And of course, when they navigate through the palace, it has beautiful, beautiful architecture. And then when the action all ensues, it's really, really cool looking and lots of explosions. And I just feel in general, the show has matured in that department as well. And the last thing that I want to mention in this episode, again, I loved it. I thought I had very little misgivings in the beginning that it's going to be a filler episode, just another mission. No, it actually built the world. I thought it was quite significant for the show. But once again, it's illustrating to us that we don't quite know who Omega is, what her past is. And my main takeaway from this episode is what is going to be her new role? Because when Hunter is basically, he tries to patch up things with her, he sits down, he says, look, we're not going to leave you behind from now on if you sit down and win me in this chess game and demonstrate your strategy skills to me. What if we know that we see that she already picked up this laser bow and she's practicing her action and the fighting ability, but it will be quite a turn of events if instead of a warrior, because she's still a child, she will turn into this strategist who will become the brain of the operations. What if they get like their own new ship, sort of like Millennium Falcon, and she's always behind the monitor, she's always giving them issuing commands and stuff like that. Anyway, I believe she will stay for the duration of the show, and she's going to be a very integral part of it. As always, guys, my name is Ben. I do Star Wars books and comic book reviews, character highlights, lore videos, and so on. If you enjoyed this video, please consider supporting me, subscribe to this channel, hit that bell button so you don't skip my future videos, and I really appreciate your time and your support. I'll see you next time.